following show is a paid program.
Thank you all for joining me on today on the Cam Hill Show. Just first of all, wanted to say prayers to people that are going through the COVID that may be in the hospital or so. I know a lot of them, and I just want to do a shout out to them and their families. And I just want them to know we're praying for them. We're also getting ready to go through Laura, the hurricane. I want to say prayers to those that are maybe traveling and trying to get out of the way or evacuating, and all of those that are maybe staying at home. But on today, we have a great guest, Zina Garrison, the tennis Olympic gold medalist. A little bit about her. She is the former top four professional tennis player from the United States. She was a three-time Grand Slam mixed doubles champion and a women's doubles gold medalist and singles bronze medalist at Seoul in 1988 Olympic Games. Zina Garrison.
Hi.
Hey, man, that's a lot. Oh my God. Think of that. Just in the 80s that you were able to accomplish that. Wow. I'm telling you. Hey, that's an honor to say all of that and more. It's so much more. How did you start?
I actually started, my brother had a girlfriend that played tennis at McGregor Park, and was coached by John Wilkerson, who also went to Texas Southern University. And I had never even really had heard of anybody playing tennis. And went out to the park one day with him. He was a baseball player, played for Texas Southern University, and I was sitting on the bench, and that's when I met John, hit a couple of balls, and fell in love with it ever since.
Wow. In that day and time, and we're talking in the 80s, which is not long ago, but were African Americans really, were they really out there at that point? Several?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, actually, there was a lot of African American tennis players that played there. Also, what was called the ATA, which is the American Tennis Association, and which is over 100-something years old. And so, a lot of Black tennis players played tennis and were starting to, get notarized. And there was a lady by the name of Leslie Allen, and we all know Arthur Ashe and out there Gibson as well. And so it was a nice group of players out there.
But it wasn't easy, I'm sure. I mean, at the top four, what does that entail to get to go beyond everybody else? You know what I mean? What type of work does that include? I mean, that's dedication. You just don't jump up and be the top four.
Well, it was very interesting because I was actually the number one junior in the world, in 1981, to 81, 82. And so I literally left high school and went on to the courts of the French Open. So for me, it was everything that just kind of moved very quick and very fast. And once I, made the decision that I wanted to even play the sport at about, I guess I was like 14, 15 when I realized that you could actually be professional. Then I really didn't look back. I just started working really hard, and that was something I knew I wanted to do.
Okay, so let's paint this picture. You're the youngest of 7 children, okay? And you say, okay, Mom and Dad, I want to play tennis. How does that work?
Well, actually, my dad died when I was like 1 year old. I had a brother that played professional professional baseball, who died when 6 months prior to that. So it was basically me, my mom, and the other siblings
Right.
as well. But I was the youngest by 10 years. And so it was a big age difference. And my brother was a huge sports fan, though. He's always loved, sports and everything. And I found out later that he had told John Wilkerson he had a sister that he felt that could play this game. And so, once I really fell in love with the game because you could play it individual or you can also play it as a doubles team as well. But I like the fact that you could pretty much have your own destiny. You work hard, and I was a very good athlete, and I understood immediately if I kept the ball in play that, I was going to be successful.
That sounds great. And looking at that, just looking at the dedication of just work, playing tennis and you having to be out there hours and hours and hours of practice. How did that look as you're going on your way in your youth? You're missing parties, you're not hanging out with your friends, you're missing a lot of things. I know dedication.
Yeah. I was always that kid that was kind of like older for just being a younger person. I like to be around people that were older and wiser and everything. And I was always the one, I never really liked a lot of gossip. And so for me, parties were just like, I could take it, I could leave it. I loved to dance. So that was pretty much the reason why I went to parties. But, playing tennis from 10 years old on, I didn't really feel like I was missing that much. And I just didn't feel like I was, it was that big a sacrifice for me because I knew what I wanted at a young age.
Oh, well, that's the great part about it. The other thing, too, is that as a young person, you're traveling to tournaments without, mom. So you're traveling. Yeah, you're traveling. You're going to different tournaments. You're going to different locations. You've seen the world, where
Well,
many
my
haven't.
mom was tired. My mom was tired by the time she made it to me. I was actually supposed to be I was an accident anyway, so that's why, so my brothers and sisters used to tease me all the time. And true story, my mom, we had a cousin that died, and my grandmother came down from Fort Worth, and my mom told her that she was supposed to get surgery and that, that she was told that she had a tumor. My grandmother basically told her, that's not a tumor, that is a baby. So she got to rechecked. And so that used to be called Tumalina by my sister, all the things. So, so my mom really, she didn't really, she loved the fact that I played the game, but wasn't like so involved. So my sisters and brothers basically started traveling with me at a younger age and stuff like that as well.
Well, that's good to know because a lot of times we even have parents now that they're kind of concerned, when their children decide to get into sports. They're, of course, they're saying, okay, we've got to travel with the child. We've got to go with the child and things like that. But I hear what you're saying is that mom was like, you know what, you guys go.
It's like tired. Well, and also time, now things have changed.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was growing up, you could actually go and stay at a cousin's house or, or a relative or somebody, that family member that you knew in a different part of the country. And, people would just open their houses up to you and stuff. So it's totally different because now with the internet, everything's become way more dangerous. And so you have to almost travel with your kids as well.
I like what you're saying on that. Did you see, and many people have asked me to ask you this, during that time, did you really feel racism? Did you feel it?
Well, yeah. It's just really funny. Like growing up at McGregor Park, I didn't necessarily feel it as much because McGregor Park was just kind of like a melting pot of a lot of different, race, economical base, everything, but a lot, where a lot of Black people play tennis. But when I was on tour, of course I knew it was out there. Of course I've been, called the word before. Of
Mm-hmm.
course I've seen a cross burn in someone's yard that I was staying in. So
Wow.
of course I had things, but it's very interesting you mentioned that because just like maybe a month ago, one of my nieces was looking through some stuff my mother's old compartment where she kept like birth certificates and everything, and so she found a letter, and in the letter talked about me being this
Mm-hmm.
black tennis player, and it was just it was very horrible, the words that they said, and keep that child at home and blah 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 blah. And I talked to some of my brothers and sisters, and they're like, Mom got these letters all the time. That's why she started making sure that somebody was traveling with you. So I was pretty much protected in a lot of ways. But it's kind of funny, 50 something years old, and now you're finding letters where, it was a lot more difficult than what I even knew at that time.
That sounds wow. Just to know that you even knew about racism or even saw that those things were happening as a young person, which prepared as you were going along your way. It didn't stop you though.
No, actually, for me, it probably inspired me a little bit more. So I was actually telling my brother and sister, it's like, you guys probably should have told me some more about those letters. I would have, kicked more butt. And so, but you know, to me, John Wilkerson always prepared us, and I think McGregor Park also prepared us that
Mm-hmm.
people come in many different shapes, sizes, and everything else, and it's like it's the character of the person. So that's how I always look at it.
I love the fact you said that because you and John Wilkerson together had an academy, have an academy.
Yeah, so so we started Zina Garrison Tennis Academy is what it's called now, but back in the day it was called the All Court Tennis Academy.
Mm-hmm.
John Wilkerson used to actually work at McGregor Park and has probably touched over, I say, at least 100,000 kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to meet a kid around the Houston area that John has not put a racket in their
Right.
hands. And so it's just it's been an amazing journey. John is of age now. He's like 81 years old. Still goes out on the court. He's retired from the academy, but once I retired, I wanted to continue to give something back, and so I went to John and I just told him I wanted to start a program to that he started and to
Mm-hmm.
keep it going from there. And that's where Zena Garrison Academy came from. So it's 28 years old now.
Wow, I love that because you've touched so many children as well as adults and even the parents. Just seeing what you have just impacted on them in tennis because even though now we see golf, now we see we're always consumed with young people with basketball or or the men with football or something like that. But tennis in itself is still alive.
Yeah, tennis actually for I've always looked at it as it's been a hook to get
Hmm.
kids basically to come out and actually, everybody's not going to be a professional tennis player, but you at
Hmm.
least have the opportunity if you play well enough to get a college scholarship or play it for your high school team. But it also is the hook for you to be able to you know follow your dreams and
Right.
give you opportunities, and that's how I've always seen it.
I love that when you say follow your dreams because a lot of young people even now they're looking for they have that dream inside of them. And many times they look on TV and they say, "Oh, I want to be like Zena, how she did it, how she hit it, how she." But once they get in and started practicing and realize they have to be do so much above and beyond, many times they look at it
Yeah.
and say, "Wait a minute, I didn't know all of that happened. I just thought she went out and just hit the ball."
No, it's pretty funny because, you know, I think we need more of that. I think we
Yeah.
need more, like what you were saying, is allowing kids to be able to dream. The world has become such
Right.
a melting pot for negative thoughts and
Yes.
everything that we've taken a lot of that away. And comes imagination, allowing kids to have an imagination and allowing kids to dream. is allowing kids to be successful and being the best possible person they could possibly be.
Exactly. Most people, well, most children or most parents say, okay, so when do I get paid? That's the first
Yeah.
thing. when,
And my
when do we
thing
get some
is,
money?
and that's part of the problem within sports now. It's like
Yes.
there's so much money that, people have a tendency to put on their dreams onto the child,
Right.
and sometimes it does not work out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a thin line of allowing your kid to be successful and to grow and be able to learn their craft or their art.
I love that. It's a lot of camps that are out there, or were. We have COVID now, but camps at one time were really something. I know, right? But camps at one time were really big for children to try to just try it out and see if I really like different things.
Yeah, this has been very tough on me. It's been tough on my program. It's been tough on foundations just across the board.
Yes.
Um, Academies, camps, or whatever, because the summer is a time when you test out to see what you like, and
Right.
it's just to have to be in what we're in now. It's like, I went through a lot of ups and downs. Should I keep the program going? Should I stop it? Should I do whatever? Who got to lay everybody off, then you bring them back, and then you still got to raise money. And during the midst of COVID, everyone, of
Mm-hmm.
course, thought about businesses or small businesses, but no one pretty much was thinking about the small Black businesses, academies, or things that help
Yeah.
their kids have an opportunity. So we're struggling, and
Yes.
so every day I'm trying to figure out new ways. And you can't have a certain amount of kids on the court, and
Right.
there's still a lot of things they were trying to come out. So right now my whole thing is getting my board together and just trying to figure out how that we can, save 20, 25 kids
Right.
until things start going back up, where I'm used to numbers as, 500 during the summer, or,
Right.
or during the year. So that's been tough.
I like what you're saying, because the other thing is that those kids aren't able to get out and exercise, because that's an exercise for them. That's movement for them. That's something for them to do on a consistent basis, during the summer, like you were saying.
Well, it's exercise mentally and physically,
Right.
and also, and I've been told by a lot of parents that the thing that has been great about just our program is that we are exercising the mind, the body, and the soul, and
Mm-hmm.
we also, we have a garden there, and so you get to really shape the young person. You get to really help shape them into the person they want to become.
Yes, I understand that. And like you said, with COVID, the other thing too is you have a foundation. So raising funds virtually is different. It's different than raising
Different.
funds.
You want to say different? I'm sitting here every day trying to figure out how to keep the doors open.
Absolutely.
But you know, and I do realize that it's a struggle for everyone, and it's just you got to keep try to figure it out. You know.
Wow. Wow. We have people that aren't wearing their mask. And I think we talked about that. And it has just, oh my God, just been crazy. I know myself and Kim Davis on yesterday were talking about it, but man, I mean, this is crazy. We won't ever get out of this if we don't start, doing it together.
Well, it's very interesting because I actually um, was a COVID-19 tracer for all of 3 months. I mean, all
Mm-hmm.
of 3 weeks.
The
And
weeks.
so I went through all the certification and everything. And then when I realized that more and more, patients and stuff were coming in, and we had a call, and I was like, this is not for me, but I learned a lot. So, and I just really don't understand something as simple as keeping your mask on,
Mm-hmm.
like protecting others, like how people have made this such a, political thing, or just, First Amendment thing or whatever. It's like, people, you can get out of the house, you can be out of the house a lot quicker if you kept your mask on when you're in public. Like, it's
Yes,
really simple. If you really wanted to be out of the house and you want to go back to a normal way of living, wear a mask.
yes, 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 yes. I like that. I like what you're saying with that. I like what you're saying with that because the mask is the key.
Yeah, the mask definitely is. I mean, it's it's protecting others. It's also protecting you. You don't know what you're actually walking into. Somebody could be infected, right before you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be really careful. And a lot of times, people also didn't understand. When it comes to air conditioning, which everyone in Houston needs, and August, July's, we are in the air conditioning. It's like, you think you can get in there and not wear a mask or go into the thing. That's when the particles are moving around. So people, use your head. It's just wear a mask so we all can get closer back to what, quote unquote, our new normal.
Absolutely. Let's take a break right there and we'll be right back and we'll talk with Zina Garrison.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac, delivers test drives to your home or office. For a limited time, get $16,000 off all in-stock Cadillac 2019 XT5 crossovers and $19,000 off all in-stock 2019 CT6 sedans. Or experience the first ever 2020 Cadillac XT6 Premium Luxury Collection. Only $519 with $1 down for 39 months lease. Or purchase and receive 0.9% APR for 72 months with no payments until November. RonCarterCadillac.com.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac, delivers test drives to your home or office. Drive the new 2020 Cadillac XT4, only $399 a month, or the new 2020 XT5, only $429 a month, both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase the XT4 or XT5 and enjoy 0.9% APR for 72 months with no payments until November. RonCarterCadillac.com.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, truck accident, car accident? Was someone texting and ran into the back of you, not paying attention? It doesn't matter what it is. Give me a call, Attorney Willie Powles. We'll fix it today. The number is 281-881-2457. Again, that number is 281-881-2457. We'll fix it today. Call Attorney Willie Powles.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, thank you all for coming back. We're talking to Zina Garrison. Zina, let's just pick up where we left off on COVID.
Yeah, well, I was saying before that, had the opportunity to learn a lot because I did, the
Right.
COVID-19 tracing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's just an interesting thing. A lot of people like to sometimes get upset with people and say, well, they said one thing before and now they're saying something else. This is something that no one had
Right.
any clue about. And
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is people need to realize the strands are changing.
Yes.
It changes also, from the weather to the climate to all of that. So different strands. But the most important thing is wash your hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very OCD, so I've been washing my hands. I can't even stand anything on my hands. And so, wash your hands, be as, clean as possible. And I'll also like to tell people, if you've been around a lot of people and everything, when you come home, just put your clothes in a bag and, and take a shower and, wash good and start all over.
I really love that in a sense too, that people think that they are around their family. Now let's start with that. Oh, we're having a little
It
gathering.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're having a little gathering, just a small gathering, 5 or 6 people. They're family. That's no big deal. You know, they're family. But that family could be a carrier.
Yeah, and one of the things, Cam, that really got to me in the beginning of all this is I was watching television and I saw an interview from about a family in Italy, and there was 8 brothers and sisters, and 6 of them got it, and 6 of them died. The 2 were left. That has stayed with me from the beginning, and try not to, I have a couple brothers and sisters living now, and so and one of my sisters takes care of two of her kids that are sick, and so I try to be mindful of that,
Right.
as well. My brother-in-law, we're always on him because he's just like, the older they get, 70 some years old, and he's like, oh, I was like, dude, no, don't bring it back to us. Go
Right.
wash your hands.
I really like that because as you see, many people, and I've seen 16, it's a group of 16 family members. And one was a small 6-month-old baby that received it from, a parent, but I'm just saying, as they were going along, they were saying, okay, a person is negative now, but they took the test again and found out they were positive, just things like that. And many people say, oh, like we were saying about the family members, or just by being around someone, but you've got one person not wearing the mask at all. Could care less.
Yeah, well, I don't play. Tell you a quick little story. My sister went in to pay her taxes, her and my brother-in-law, and I noticed the lady didn't have on a mask. And I'm honking the horn and I'm telling her to put the mask on. My sister's like, oh, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. Like, she needs a mask. And then you're giving her money on top of that. I'm
Yes.
like, come on, please. So, people, and so I finally opened the door and I'm like, she needs to put a mask on, and her boss heard me and she came back with the mask on. But I'm like, people were just taking this so nonchalant.
Right. Exactly. And my thing is that if it wasn't, how they say it's a hoax, if it's a hoax, you get to the hospital or ER, they don't let you in. You have to leave.
Well, let's rephrase that. One person said it's a hoax.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, you're right. You're right. Exactly. You're right. The leader says it's a hoax, right?
So, ain't nobody else said it's a hoax, 'cause it's very real.
And then you leave a person at the hospital, at ER, you can't go with them. And that's even in an ambulance and I found this out from another friend, said, hey, they won't even let me go with my husband in the ambulance. And he was stage 4 Alzheimer's. So he didn't know what they were doing. He was combative. He was kicking. He was fighting because he just didn't know, but they did not know that he was stage 4 Alzheimer's. He only knew her. He only, saw her on a consistent basis. And of course they were, strapping him down to the, gurney and all kind of things. So they just didn't know.
Yeah, and they're finding out more and more that, can't even imagine,
Wow.
the nursing home,
Yes.
the nursing homes, and so many of them. And what they found out is a lot of them were working in, one nursing home and then going to another one.
Right.
And so then they were passing it on.
Yes.
But just already, they're already very alone, lonely.
Right.
And used to their family members coming, and then just to take that away. I mean, I
Right.
have a friend, mom lives in Jacksonville, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and she's 97 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you can't, for her birthday, she turned 98.
Mm-hmm.
For her birthday, like, no one can even see her. So
Right.
it's like you have to do everything virtually, but it's still not the same.
No, it's not. And then, of course, the funerals. Even when a loved one passes,
Yeah.
many can't go. I mean, we're used to, wait a minute, hold the body for a person for about 2 or 3 weeks so everybody can get here.
Hold the body, they like get you up and out of there now. So, but no, it's just sad because, like there's just so many things that are uncertain and you just don't know, and you have to be mindful and precautious for everybody and everyone around you that you care about.
Absolutely. I want people to know that you also have dedicated a lot of your life as far as doing a show that I love, Best Journey. And what I love about it is that you show, or someone speaks about their journey, kind of where they started. And I think 40 million plus people now that are unemployed, they still have that dream inside of them. They were working, of course, because they had to pay for, family, and you've got to bring your finances. Yeah. But deep inside, they still have that dream even now. And they just don't know how to do the jump. They don't know where to go and what to do. But they listen to the best journeys of how people started, how people sacrificed, what they had to do, because it didn't come easy. And I love what you say about that. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, myself and Sonia Boyd, we both hosted the show, and we were trying to come up with a name, and we both agreed on the Best You Journey, just because everyone literally has a journey, and that was very interested in us. And we also had our producer, Valencia Thompson, who was excellent, young person that had the spunk. But what we all were really interested in is that it didn't matter if you were a professional athlete or or entertainer or a politician or whatever. Everyone had a starting point,
right?
And everyone, from their starting point on to their journey, was intriguing. I remember we had a lady on that talked about her passion for jewelry, and she started her own jewelry line. And then we also had someone that was into wines and, started fruit wine as well. So it turned out to be, Cam, really interesting because we did the shows on Mondays, but it also started to become very therapeutic for Sonia and Valencia and myself, just because we got a chance to learn so much from other people. But even when you're having ups and downs, and it still would be, so awesome to walk in that room. Right. And Elise, I think she works on your show as well. She was there, and we all became, we couldn't wait to get there on a Monday to just kind of talk about where we wanted to go for the week. And so we've been talking about Elise bringing it back, twice a month. And I'm doing a new show right now with Chanda Rubin, and it's called Game Set Chat. And getting ready to go with, you can find them on YouTube. And so we've had some tennis players, and we're getting ready to release this weekend. We did an interview with Serena Williams, and I've had Lindsay Davenport and Billie Jean King. So I actually enjoy, even though I'm not a big talker, like I told you, I actually enjoy listening and interviewing people and talking about their stories.
I love that, because I love talking about stories too, and that's what this is really based off of, about people's journeys. But I often heard something that I love. Most people, a person said, our journeys are not a sprint, they're a marathon. And we have to think of life like that, because many times we want it instantly now. We want to jump from doing 2 training camps, and then we're ready to go make millions of dollars. It wasn't like that for you.
Well, if it was, it'd be a lot more people with a lot more stories to tell.
Right.
It's definitely not. One thing it is for sure, it's hard work.
Yes.
And dedication. And I at a very young age, I had an opportunity to meet a billionaire that actually came to to McGregor Park, and I'll never forget. He told me to try to do something that you're passionate and that you love to do, because then you have no problem with waking up doing it every day. And I've always thought about that.
I love that. And the fact that he said that was very, very true, in a sense that many say, do something that you love if you get paid for it or if you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know as the tournaments, I mean, as you're going up the ladder, as your resume and things like that, you had to put in a lot of work.
Yeah, I actually, as I said before, I was that kid that actually, if you said do 25 times around the courts, I would do 50.
Yes.
So I was always that kid that believed in just doing a little bit more, or doing extra would get me where I needed to go and what I wanted to be.
And also studying the tapes and looking at others, I'm sure you were looking at that just to help you see what's the difference, or to look I'm sure, right? Or look at other tapes where you had played. Did I do it right? What do I need to work on? I know John helped you with that too.
Well, John was he was a big person in studying and knowing the game, and mentally, and knowing, he was really big on fundamentals, because which I later understood why he was so big on knowing the fundamentals and the mental part of the game. And a lot of people try to teach it, for as tennis, they try to teach it separately. But John taught it all at the same time. It's very difficult to teach it separately, but it's a lot easier if you start someone off to understanding how important the game is mentally, as well as physically. It's much easier to get them to understand and to be much more coachable.
Absolutely. And then you can kind of, I'm sure at your academy, you can kind of pick up on who really wants to do this or who's just having fun. You can kind of, gauge that and say, okay, I see the talent there. Let's hone in on the talent and talk to the parents and let's see.
Yeah, you can pretty much tell when a kid really wants to play, or if the parents want them to play. And a lot of times, and it's a good and a bad, and most of the time a parent wants them to have the same experience that they had, when they had the opportunity to learn the game. It's just, sometimes they also feel like they didn't put in the time or the effort that they should have gone, or maybe gave themselves opportunity. So then they put that pressure on the kids.
Right.
So that's probably one of the negatives of it all.
In doing that, what would you like to tell the viewers? What would you like to leave with them?
I think the biggest thing is, first and foremost, especially right now, and it's in this time of COVID, if you were already in a foundation or an academy, or having your kid do something, then, go and just ask the foundation, is there anything that you can do? Because we all know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that might be able to help. And keep those programs going. That would be my biggest thing that I would say right now. Let's put our efforts into keeping those programs going for, those community kids, because they need it. I mean, right now, so much going on, and they need the opportunity to release as well.
Especially since many of them are at home and they're doing virtual classes right now.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing it, because I know I have to do a couple Zoom calls, and after about 2 or 3 hours, I'm like ready to go.
Exactly.
To get out of there. And I consider myself to be an introvert, but it's like when you have to stay home, it's a lot different when you're staying home because you want to stay home.
Absolutely. If people want to contact you, let's get some information as far as how to contact you, how to find out where you're going, and what you're doing. What updates do you have?
ZinaGarrison.org is a website for the foundation, and also you can reach me there. I also have a new show, like I said, called Game Set Chat with tennis player Chanda Rubin. Getting ready to go to the U.S. Open in a couple of days to do some commentary work. So, check us out. And I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. So check me out.
Sounds great. Well, that's Zina Garrison. I appreciate you, lady. Hey, be safe. Take care during this Laura as well as COVID. We got them both on top of each other, right?
Double.
Coming to Houston. Yeah. And I so appreciate you. Thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for just who you are. Just still giving back all of these years, still opening, yourself up to say, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll be a part. Yes, I'm here to help. I love that.
Well, thank you, and keep up the good work with your show.
Sounds great. That's Zina Garrison. I'm telling you, let's look at who's going to be next for the next show. Now, on tomorrow, we're going to do something maybe a little bit different. We're here in Houston, and man, Laura is going to be, they're saying Laura is going to be here. But still watch what's going on. I'll see you. Take care. Bye.